Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the Tattoed Tarot and today we are going to be doing the personality of your forever person. So I know there's a lot of readings out there that will look at the personality or the appearance of the future spouse, but today we are going to be specifically looking at your forever person. So not just the next person that you're going to be in a relationship with or a partnership with, but actually your forever person, the person who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, the person who you're going to marry if that's what you choose, if you choose to if marriage is something that you want. I am going to be doing a follow-up reading after this. I am filming a little bit ahead of schedule. I am going to be doing the appearance specifically. I'm going to get into some really juicy details on that. It's going to be a really long reading, but today we are just specifically going to focus on the personality. So we have 3 piles to choose from today. We have pile number 1, Bring It. We have pile number 2, the Jackpot, and pile number 3, the Hotline. So take a second to inhale and exhale, and wow, the dryer is going off. I am so sorry about that. Let me fix that. But take a second to inhale and exhale, and then choose which one you would like, and then I will see you at your reading. Hello and welcome pile 1 to your reading. If you picked the Bring It card, I've just popped it over here to the side for you, and then we're going to read your cards. And again, I am really sorry about that glare. I am trying to fix it, but I hope it doesn't affect the reading too much. So if you didn't stick around for the intro, I will be doing an appearance reading. This will be following this one, but today we are going to specifically be focusing on their personality and how you can recognize your forever person. So we have their overarching enemy as the Hanged Man. So, a major arcana here. The Hanged Man is someone who is very patient, very contemplative, and also very understanding. I do feel like this person is an amazing listener here. We have the listener card paired with the Hanged Man. I do feel like they are an amazing listener. I feel like they can always listen to both sides of a story. They can always see 2 sides of the same coin. The Hanged Man traditionally is someone who can be quite passive, quite patient, quite contemplative. Again, they're kind of in the traditional tarot. I know in this one it is the bat. So a bat may be a personal spirit guide or an omen for you before meeting this person, seeing a lot of bats, or, perhaps in imagery, or, maybe they just really love bats, or you really love bats. But what I am seeing is that, it's normally the card where the person is making decisions and he's upside down and he's in a meditative state. It's very Piscean. I can never say that word. It's associated with the Pisces. I'm pretty sure it is. The 12th house, and it can almost have like a daydreamy effect to it. Sometimes a little bit more passive. Now, I don't actually think that they are always like that. I do actually think that they are quite high energy as a person. I do feel like they are someone with a lot of confidence. With the Bring It card here, they're not afraid to tackle things head on. I don't think that they always sit in this passive state, but I do feel like they know when to rein it in. They have a lot of energy. And, some of the other cards that was trying to come out for pile number 1 was solar powered and live wire. And I do feel like they can be a little bit of a live wire. And that was funny because the engineer came out and then the live wire. So this person possibly could work as an engineer for some of you, or they could work with electrics or something like that, but there is something about their personality that is a little bit of a live wire. It might be a little bit impulsive at times, a little bit confident, very creative, very whimsical. It's very out there, very eccentric would be the right word. But I feel like what they does works. This would be kind of like the mad artist, or the mad scientist, but it works. But at the same time, that's not their entire personality. I do feel with the Hanged Man here, there is a contemplative, more meditative state to them that listens and that understands and that knows how to talk. With the Gossip card here, it always feels like they know what to say at the right time. Awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honouring trust. I do feel like people trust them to give them advice, or, I feel like people come to them in confidence, that they know that they will listen to them. Again, they know that they will consider all angles, that they will consider all perspectives of a situation, and they've always got they've got this attitude of like, bring it. There's always a silver lining. I feel like people go to them because they know, if someone is really struggling with a problem, they know that this person can offer them all different kinds of perspectives and angles, or like ways that they can tackle a problem, or they can always give them an honest solution that is, it's practical. The engineer, ability to give creative energy a practical expression, a talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. Again, this person literally may be an engineer, or their aura and their personality is of one, and their archetype is of one of an engineer. And again, we do have the cosmos and creativity here and vastness. I feel like they have such a vast imagination, they always can find the creative solution to a problem. And I feel like that's why a lot of people actually come to them quite a lot of the time in confidence, and also because they are confident that they can help them solve that problem. Do you see how on the gossip card here, he's kind of like, he's speaking to the female, he's speaking to the woman here, but it's almost like he's speaking a frequency into her. I do feel like this person in their personality can almost unlock codes or unlock light codes in other people when they speak. And the throat chakra seems to be heavily important. You know, if you're someone who can read auras, I do think this person has a lot of blues in their auras. A lot of blues, especially with the blue here, and all of the archetypal cards and the Cosmo card is a blue. I am associating them with water signs, so Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but mainly Pisces here with the Hanged Man. And again, that cosmos, that moon energy, being able to see things in the dark that perhaps other people can't see, things that might be challenging to other people. This person has a rich imagination. This might be the type of person that would like daydream music videos in their heads, or possibly watch a lot of like fantasy TV shows or fantasy fan fiction, or perhaps they like a lot of like the medieval, like Viking era, and then we've got they might want to daydream about mythical dragons, and then they're daydreaming about something else like Game of Thrones, and then Lord of the Rings. Like, they're the type of person that would like enjoy gaming and like playing The Witcher and things like that, because it just unlocks another world in them. And again, they are very creative, very optimistic, I feel, as well. I feel like they always can inspire other people with their creativity. But again, there's something practical about their creative energy. They have all that creative energy and imagination, but it's not just, woo-woo, as people would say. It's not just, I've got all this creativity and it's just all stuck in my head. I do feel like they ground it down with that engineer. They ground it down into the physical, to something that's tangible, to something that actually can be felt or touched or seen or heard, or something to do with, people can actually take in that information and understand it on a level. It's almost like they're like a translator to other people in some kind of way. Perhaps they are literally a translator, but it's almost like they translate that creative energy into something practical that can be used in the physical world. It's not all just ideas in the head. I don't see them just like daydreaming off all the time. They are very attentive. They're also very grounded in their energy here. And with the beggar card and the prison wave, so this is self-sabotage, poverty, consciousness, and confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. I feel like they may have been through a point in their past where they had a poverty consciousness or a lack mentality. Perhaps they used to sabotage themselves. Perhaps they used to like dim down their creativity that was vast like this cosmos in the past. Or perhaps that they used to keep it to themselves with the hangman. But I do feel now that they share this more openly, and you will see this especially as their forever person, that you will see, this part of them really come out of their shell. It's really unique and individual to them. And perhaps through their experiences, they help other people who are also stuck in their own self-sabotage or poverty consciousness. Again, it awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. So they might really help other people with their self-esteem, or they may have had, self-esteem issues in the past, and they're kind of out of that energy now, and they're inspiring other people to step out of it. They kind of like bring it now. They could be related to the number 11. They could be a master number 11. It could be November that you meet this person. This was the main forefront card that came out. And also 12. We have 11 and followed by 12. So I do feel like they're constantly moving up. And I don't feel like, if this was them at one point, I don't feel like they're in that currently. I feel like they've built some stability for themselves. I feel like they're a very practical, stable person underneath it. They're the type of person that you could go to and you could vent to, and they would just listen and understand and nod, and they would know exactly the right thing to say and give you the perfect, okay, well, here is your solution. You can do option 1 where we do it like this, or you could do option 2 where you do it like this. And they're the type of person that would like write a list weighing out the pros and cons for you. And yeah, perhaps in the past, perhaps they felt that they had to beg for other people's energy, or in past relationships, or they've self-sabotaged things, or they just didn't think that they were good enough for things. But I feel like they've really built up their physical world now. Yeah, they've really built up things around them. They have been through some challenges. But again, 4 plus 1 equals 5, and then we have 3 plus 1 equals 4. So it's like 4 to the 5 and 11 to the 12. This person just always keeps it moving. This person is, you know, they've grown a lot throughout their life, I'm seeing. I'm seeing that they've grown a lot throughout their lives. Perhaps they were dependent on people in the past, but they kind of like step into their own creativity now. They use it. They're like, come on, bring it. They know that they really, perhaps their eccentricness is like really, you know, when they were younger and less mature, kind of like put them down a little bit, or people used to gossip about them. But I feel, you know, like that person's so weird. That person's like so eccentric. But I think it's like water off a duck's back now. I don't think that they're really too bothered by it anymore. I feel like they've grown a lot as a person. Again, they are very confident within themselves now. Their confidence card is coming through. So their personality is coming through as confident, as loyal, as a listener, as greatly creative. It's very much giving water sign energy, also very intuitive with their creativity. But again, it's almost like there's two sides to them. There's the water, more ethereal, fey-like side to them that's really, you know, into the fantasy and into the imagination and the dream world. But then again, there's something about them that is extremely practical, that where they use their throat chakra. I feel like they're a very good talker in terms of just they always know the right thing to say. I don't feel like they're over the top. They might be a little bit of a live wire at times, and you know, you might see that little spark every now and again, but I don't think that they're overwhelming. I don't think that they're, you know, so overwhelming that they become draining, especially not to you, not if they're your forever person. I feel like you can really talk about the universe with this person and you can bounce things back and forth. This is someone who you can talk to with like about conspiracy theories, or even just in general, just about everyday life. You know, this person is giving pillow talk, spirit saying pillow talk. So if you're the type of person that would love laying in bed at night, just talking about things, staring at the ceiling with some cool night lights on the ceiling or something with the stars and the galaxies, this is the type of person that would sit camping and looking at the stars, talking about, you know, the universe and the way of life, but they look at it through a very practical angle. I feel like there's some kind of Virgo or Capricorn here to them that is very practical and grounded with it. It's like it's giving water, but it's also giving earth. But I am strongly getting like the Pisces, Virgo, you know, the sister signs, the oppositional signs. It's giving, you know, maybe like a Pisces moon, but like a Virgo sun, or a Pisces moon or a Virgo rising or something like that. It's kind of giving there is something about them, because there's something mercurial about them, even though it's daydreamy and it has like a Piscean trait to them. There is something that's mercurial about it with his gossip. Virgo, Gemini energy in the 3rd house. Perhaps this person has some siblings. They just can talk a really good talk, but it's not cocky and it's not arrogant. It's just they're very calm. They're understanding. They're the type of person that, you know, I just love talking to that person. They're so practical. They're so wise. But again, they've got this like strange, creative, eccentric look on life, and it's so refreshing. It's nothing like I've ever heard of before. They really are like an engineer and a pioneer in their thinking and in their mind. And again, that throat chakra is very, very important. So if they're not a physical engineer or something like that, I do feel like their job involves their throat chakra, or their throat chakra is a very integral part of their personality. I do feel like they have a lot of blues and greens in their aura, and possibly even some browns as well, like very earthy in their aura, very grounded, you know, the type of person who I feel like they do enjoy grounding. They might enjoy camping and like being outside and going in nature every so often just to ground themselves. I'm seeing someone put their feet in the soil. So they might like walking barefoot. They might like walking, you know, being on the grass, or even just chilling out on the back garden outside or their backyard, you know, just really enjoying that and grounding and connecting back to the earth. I am feeling as well, there might be someone who enjoys water quite a lot, or like who has a bath or a shower like every day, like as a ritual, because I do feel like naturally the water is quite cleansing to them. And again, water, it's that water sign, that creativity that's coming through. So I do feel like they might strongly connect with water or a lake, or they might have a favorite swim spot or something like that. Yeah, they could be a diver as well for some of you here. So let's get a couple of different star signs for them to see to finish out your reading. We have Taurus, yeah. That doesn't surprise me with the earthy energy that they do have to them. We'll get 3. We have Cancer, yeah. We have a water signs coming in. The Cancer and the Taurus. And one more, please, Spirit. Cancer again. So yeah, Cancer might be in their top 3, their sun, their moon, or their rising. I just do feel like, you know, there is some heavy water and a little bit of earth in their chart, but again, it was mostly water that came out. Yeah. Anything else? There's something like almost something ethereal about them. Even if they're male, there's something like otherworldly about them. Their take on life and the way that they look at things. It's just like such a different perspective. I feel like that you'd speak to them and you'd just be like, oh, I guess I never really thought about it like that, or I never really thought about it that way. Yeah. But again, they're strong in themselves, you know, even if they wasn't at one point in time. I feel like they are very full of compassion, humility. And, you know, the poverty consciousness with the prison waif and the beggar, and the empowerment at the level of physical survival. There might be something here about working with people, like homeless people, or working with people who are like in survival mode, or perhaps they were like in survival mode at one point in their lives. Perhaps they, you know, they weren't the most well off growing up. Perhaps they had like a lot of siblings, so like clothes. I'm seeing like clothes having to be passed down or shared out. Yeah. But they are just a really genuine, loving person. I feel like, yeah, they really love like books, or, you know, they're very well educated in terms of just their understanding of life and their perspective and take on things. Yeah, very humble. They're a very humble person. They're like, bring it, come on. But they're humble. It's not arrogant, it's not cocky, it's humble, is what I would say. Creative, humble, vast, compassionate, full of humility, a great innovative thinker, but very practical and grounded, very, very honest and humble. Your forever person, pile number 1. So that is it. It's a short and sweet one today, pile number 1. But I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Please do consider subscribing if you'd like to see more of my videos. Hit the like, drop a comment down below what you'd like to see on the next reading, and I shall see you next time. Bye, pile 1. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 2. This is going to be your reading in a little series of your forever person. So if you didn't quite catch the intro, we are going to be doing the personality today, focusing on that. And then next, what's coming up, we are going to be doing a full appearance reading of your future spouse, how you can recognize them. And that's going to be a long, juicy reading. I do apologize for the glare. I hope it's not too distracting, but I will read the cards to you as they came out. Now, if this does sound like you, I did forget to say this for pile number 1, but a lot of people, when they comment before, on other readings as well in the past that I've done, they say, oh, you know, my forever person sounds exactly like me, so I guess I'm marrying myself. If your forever person sounds exactly like you, they are probably, you know, a soul mirror to you, or, you know, some people like to call it a twin flame or a soul mirror, or they are literally just, you know, the male version or the female version of you, just in the opposite, in another body. So it's okay if it does sound like you. Perhaps there are just a lot of similarities between them and you, so that's okay. So I feel like just saying that just in case, because I know it can confuse a lot of people if it sounds like I'm reading you. And for some reason I am getting that for especially this pile, you may be confused because I feel like specifically for this pile, this person may mirror you quite a lot. So this person literally might sound like you because they are like, I guess another version of you, or a reflected version of yourself. You might see a lot of yourself in this person. So we have the Jackpot here, and I do feel like with the overarching energy of the Jackpot on the Temperance here, that your person, it literally feels like you are hitting the jackpot, that they are golden, and I am seeing a lot of golden light around their energy. We have the golden and the orange light around the Temperance, the wounded child, the dilettante, the Queen of Light here with the golden light, and then we also have the golden light here with the Understanding card. So there's a lot of light, especially with the Queen of the Light, which represents illumination, enlightenment, and celebration. I feel like your forever person is deeply spiritual and deeply connected to their divine feminine. Now, that does not mean that they are female, but I do feel like they are quite spiritual in that essence and quite creative. I'm getting someone who deeply loves the arts, who deeply is a healer, who deeply is connected to Mother Earth or Mother Gaia, someone who really revels in justice. There's something Venusian about this person. Venusian and Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So there's something extremely balanced and temperate about them. I feel like they're incredibly patient and calm. There's something very almost regal about this person in terms of, how would I describe this? Timeless beauty. There's something that's very elegant about them, even for a male. I am seeing that there is something that is just timeless about them, that is beautiful or wondrous, or there's something that is just ethereal about them. I'm specifically seeing the way that this person may walk or move. It's graceful. It's graceful. Yes, that's the kind of right word that I'm seeing. I'm seeing that they're very intuitive. They're very impatient here with the Swan Queen. Transformation. I feel like they're always leveling up, or they're always transforming their life. Perhaps they've been through a massive transformation in their life, and you might look at old pictures of this person, or you might hear stories of this person's past, and you kind of think that they're so far removed from the person that they are when you meet them, or the person that they are when they're your forever person, right? I am seeing that they may work heavily either with children or with some kind of creative project or pursuit or career. I am seeing that they could perhaps work with wounded children, awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Perhaps they had, not the best childhood, and they've transformed through that and gained enlightenment and illumination through that. Sometimes when we have terrible childhoods ourselves, or terrible past experiences in general from the past, it can open up a spiritual awakening for that illumination, for that enlightenment. And we use that as a lesson to then help other wounded children or other wounded animals. I am saying this person could work with animals as well. With the dilettante, this person delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. I feel like, do you see how this female's got all the hands in several pies or several pots? In one hand she's gardening, and the other she's painting, and another one she's reading, and then in another one she's got the cooking bowl. I feel like this person has a lot of Venusian energy. It does remind me of the Taurus or the Venus energy, or Taurus, or Venus in Libra energy. Venus and Taurus people, they love cooking as a love language, and they love showering their person, not necessarily with gifts, but with the senses. I feel like this person is a very sensual person. Creativity often can translate into sexual energy or sensual energy, because creativity, that Ace of Wands, that spark of life, it's fire energy and it's passion. And a lot of people think sexual or sensual energy, it's just lustful, or it can be superficial. But I feel like this person is extremely sensual in the way that they move throughout the earth, and the way that they live their life, and in the way that they are in a relationship, particularly with you. It's like you've hit the jackpot. They want to give you life's riches. There's a lot of golden energy and enlightenment in their aura. I do feel like they operate quite heavily from either the solar plexus or their sacral chakra. I feel like those are the chakras that you connect with this person the most, and how they live their life. They live their life through those two dominant chakras the most. But they're also very enlightened. I feel like they can heal people through their food, or They can heal people through their gardening, or, you know, this is the type of person that would go to the garden centre with you at the weekend and then love to paint with you, or, you know, the type of person who would go on a date that's like a sip and paint or something like that. Or this is the type of person that would like cook a 3-course meal for you in their home and put all the candles on. There's something very warm and grounded about this person that is very sensual. It's giving Taurus and Libra heavily. That might not be their actual star sign, but just the energy and the archetypes of those signs. Again, Libra ruling the 7th house of relationships. They can be someone who is actually quite romantic, very sweet-natured, very, again, sensual. And again, with the Taurus energy, I feel like their love language, it's very practical. It's very, it's either acts of service, or it's like possibly words of affirmation for some of them, but it's mainly acts of service. Let me cook you a meal. Let me run you a bath. Let me put some fresh bed sheets on for you. Very, you know, it's very homely. It's giving like freshly baked bread and coffee in the morning and bed and breakfast. It's giving those kinds of vibes. I feel like this person might love to go out to eat, or might just really love food, or they might really love art, or like they like the indulgent good things in life. You know, they like the heavy fabrics, they like the thick carpets and rugs to walk on. There's something very, you know, like when people have those homes, if they have their own place or their own apartment or whatever, their own house, I don't feel like it's you know how some people, it's almost like stripped bare and it has no personality, and it's like almost medicinal, or like what's the word? There's a word for it. It just looks so like, what's the word, spirit? It's so like clean and hygienic. I mean, like every house should be hygienic, right? But it's so almost like void of personality, like just whitewash walls and very minimalist. Yeah, very, it's so like a hospital. Yeah, like the whole place is just like disinfected, and it's just lack of a void of any personality. I do not feel like this person's home is like that. I think that they would like collect things from vintage shops and have little trinkets on shelves with like plants hanging off of them, or they would have like paintings hung up, and they would have a story behind like every painting that was hung up, or like every photo or every piece of art. It was like, oh, that was from a friend that they painted me, or that one's what I painted myself back in 2012 or something. Like, I just feel like their inner world is extremely rich. Yeah, I do feel like their inner world is extremely rich. I do feel like they like the finer things in life. They like to splash out and indulge a little bit. I mean, who doesn't? Pile number 2. I do feel like this person could be on possibly more the wealthier side with that jackpot as well. They could have a little bit of money, they could be well off, or they just energetically, they're very abundant, and they're abundant in their soul, in their mind, in their spirit, very abundant. Even if they have dealt with wounding in the past, I feel like they're beyond that now. And again, with the swan here and the pelican, there might be something bird-like about them. I know we're not specifically talking about appearance here, but there could be something bird-like, possibly with their nose, or in their face. Or they could have a lot of hair, pile number 2. Yeah, they could have long hair, even for a male. Or like braided hair, or something like that. Because the birds, think of all the feathers on a bird, and then all of these images are females, or even the male here has really long hair. All of the colours are different. I'm getting, like, mostly it could be dark. Like, it's either black or it's blonde. I have 4 black here, and then there's 3 blonde that are like quite on the lighter side. So it's going to be different for all of you. Again, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you know you don't like people with blonde hair, it's just not your preference, then it probably is black. And vice versa. But we aren't going to focus too much on the appearance today. We are just going to stick to the personality. I do feel like this person is associated with like even numbers. I know that sounds really weird, but I'm seeing a lot of like 2s, 4s, and 6s. I feel like they're very stable, but very spiritual. I also, 222 and 777 is coming through the strongest here. So those are numbers that you might be seeing before you meet this person, or they could be related to, February, or July. This person could be a Cancer, or this person could be an Aquarius, or you could meet them during that time. I do feel like their energy, though, it's extremely healing. The passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind and spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. This person could be a massage therapist. This person could work with children. This person could do Reiki. This person could be an artist. This person could be a chef. This person could be a writer, a gardener, a painter. I don't know if I've said that already, sorry. They definitely do something with their hands. Again, writing, painting, cooking, they're all things with the hands. And I am seeing, do you see how even in these, there's always something in the hands. In all of these images here, there is something in the hands where there is a golden energy there. So there is definitely something practical that they do with their gift. I do feel like they have the gift and there is energy within their hands. I feel like their hands could also be quite warm. But they definitely do a career or a job, something with their hands. I feel like they might, again, physical touch might be a thing with love language as well. So acts of service, physical touch, and possibly words of affirmation, because their touch is very healing. So I feel like, they might put their hand on your forearm when you're worried, or when they're talking to you, and their hands are really warm but grounded and healing at the same time. There's something that's very comfortable about this person. You're very comfortable around this person. There's something almost a bit nostalgic to them, or like something about them reminds you of childhood, but in like the best way. And I almost feel like they might even help you heal your inner wounded child. Spirit's showing me the Six of Cups, because I looked at this on the 15, 1 + 5 = 6, and I thought, oh, the Six of Cups, nostalgia. And then I looked at the card with the wounded child, and the Six of Cups does represent the child and nostalgia. So I do feel like there is something about their personality, or that reminds you of childhood, or it might remind you of someone from childhood, but it's like the best way. It might even trigger you at first. Perhaps it does remind you of someone who wounded you in childhood, but that, they're healing. They come in to heal it. It's like the best version of that person. And again, they may do this for a job or help with other people. They may counsel or guide other children. Or they may be a teacher. Something like that. But yeah, I am saying this could even be someone from your childhood, literally, for some of you. But again, that will only resonate for a very few of you, maybe like 3 or 4 of you here. It could be someone from the past. From childhood, like a very long time old childhood friend, or someone who you went to school with. But again, there's a childlike innocence to them. There's a childlike purity that you just want to protect. Almost like they haven't been tainted by the world. They're just inner with this rich abundance in their personality. Always looking up, always looking ahead. And literally, it might be someone who is always on the outskirts. I do feel like this person. I've just seen 44 on the time. It's 10:44 a.m. right now. But yeah, 44. I did say about the 2s and the 4s. You could be seeing 222, 444, or 666 again consecutively, like working your way up through the numbers. The invisible here, I do feel like they might be more on the introverted side, or more on like the outskirts. They literally might be invisible to other people, or they might make themselves invisible in some kind of way. Or even if they are someone who you've known from childhood, or who grew up in the same town as you, it's almost like you've never seen them before, and you're like, how have I never come across you before? How have you been like invisible to me all this time? And I feel like, in a way, spiritually, it's because Spirit has been like keeping you out of each other's way until you were both healed enough to meet each other. Because this childhood wound in the healer could also mean to me that you've both had childhood wounds and other things that you've had to go through. You've had other things that you've had to go through to get to this point, and you both had to reach a certain level of healing and almost rich in abundance and balance within the self, and trust in your own intuition and being patient and going through a transformation before you met this person. So it's almost like they were invisible to you all this time up until now, and there was a spiritual meaning or a spiritual reason behind that. But I do feel like this person is extremely understanding here. Extremely understanding, extremely knowledgeable, extremely calm. This person is extremely calm. Like if you've dealt with a lot of volatile partners in the past, this person is nothing like those, pile number 2. This person is extremely healing and soothing to be around. It's like a healing balm. This person feels like Vaseline, like a balm. around your aura, very soft edges. The aura has like very soft edges, very like pastel colors in the aura, pastel blues, golden pastel golds and oranges, white as well, a lot of white in the aura, but again, like this pastel kind of colors. Very soft. It's almost like they have the, you know that saying like, oh, they have the feminine touch, they have the woman's touch. It's kind of that. So for some of you, this possibly could actually be a female, but even for the masculines, there's something extremely soft about them, and soft about their hands specifically. Yeah. Okay, so let's pull 3 possible star signs for them in their sun, moon, or rising, and then I will close out this reading. So what could be their star sign? Pile number 2, Spirit, tell us. They could be a Scorpio. Very deep. Yeah. Very platonic. Again, that transformation. Perhaps they've had, you know, they've been through a lot of transformation in their lives. We have Capricorn. Something very earthy and grounded about them still. Something very honest and raw and hardworking about them. Again, they might have their own business. Might be self-employed. We have Cancer, yeah. Rules the 4th house of home and family. Very much loves and treasures family. Very much a family man or a family woman. Very much, you know, the breadwinner. Very possibly even a little bit traditional. Wanting to provide or wanting to serve the family. But yes, they love the arts, and yeah, they love the finer things in life too. Pile number 2. So that was your reading. It's a short and sweet one today. Please do stick around for the next reading if you would like. Please consider subscribing because we will be doing the appearance reading of your future spouse. Hit the like and drop a comment down below and tell me what you'd like to see you know, going forward in the future. And I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever you are. Pile number 2. Bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 3. If you chose the Hotline card, this is going to be your reading on the personality of your forever person. So if you didn't quite catch the intro, I am going to be doing this as like a little 2-part series. I'm going to be doing today the personality of your forever person, and then the next reading, because I am filming a little bit ahead of schedule, I am going to be doing the appearance. So we're going to get all into the juicy details, so do stick around for that and make sure you subscribe so that you can see that reading pop up. And we're going to, you know, be doing the charms and the pieces of paper. It's always really fun when that happens. So this is what came out for your forever person, pile number 3. I'll be reading the cards to you, and then we will try and get 3 star signs at the end for their general energy or what their star sign could be. So there was a few extra cards that came out with yours. We did have the Sacred Union that came out as a little extra snippet of information about them, because I feel like your person, the way that they act with you is not necessarily how they always act with other people. Now, I don't mean that they are superficial or that they are fake, but I just feel like being in a relationship with you is like, it's almost like you get the privilege of seeing a deeper side to them, a deeper layer to them that the outside world would not have otherwise seen. Now, I guess that's true for most relationships. You know, relationships are literally between 2 people, and you will see them on a level that no one else will. You know, you will see them on a deeper level than a friend. You will see them on a deeper level than a family member, right? But specifically with this person, I am getting that feeling quite strong, because I feel like to other people, they are quite mysterious, okay? They are the moon. They give off a very, maybe even a little haughty energy here, you know, with the Hotline. I feel like they are very funny. Your forever person, hilarious. They were making me laugh, okay, when I was channeling this pile. They were like the funniest, sarcastic little F, you know? I can't swear on YouTube, but they were so funny. And when this card came out, I got an image of like someone stood in like a post box. A phone box, sorry, not a post box. And they were like, "Excuse me, hello, it's the Hotline calling." Like trying to get through to you and your energy. And they was like messing about. And I feel like if you're someone who like gets down from time to time or feels quite anxious, or you're someone who gets stuck in your head, this person is the most hilarious person to be around. They are the definition of like a class clown or like the life of the party. I think that they can come across a little bit like that at times, and even some people might even think that they're a little bit cocky or arrogant, or even possibly a little bit facetious. Like, I feel like you're okay. Okay, this is like the most upbeat energy of all the piles. Your person is a bit of a live wire, pile number 3. Your person can be a little bit impulsive at times, but it's so hilarious. I feel like they can skate the line sometimes with their choices. Perhaps sometimes they speak before they think, or you should think before you speak. I feel like sometimes they can come out with the most random stuff, and you're like smacking them on the arm, and you're like, don't say that out in public, don't be so like facetious or something. The word that I kept getting was like facetious, like telling them off, like you shouldn't be joking at such a serious time, but they're just having the time of their life. Like, I just feel like they are someone who doesn't take life so seriously, and at least that's how other people perceive them. And that might, they can always see the bigger picture. They don't get stuck in the big details of things, they're not going to cry about, I don't know, I just don't feel like they take life seriously. Like, they're not going to cry about something from like 3 years ago on December 9th, 2009 or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just not going to, they're not going to get caught up in the small details. Like, but I am saying that they might be competitive in sport. We do have the Emperor here in Aries. There is something that is very stable about them and very angelic underneath that. But I feel like they might come across as a little bit arrogant at times, or a little bit independent, or people might perceive them that way. And I feel like even maybe at first, they might rub you up the wrong way. Again, hotline, there's something that burns about them. This person's full of fire and passion. It's very possible that this person is a fire sign. We have the hotline here. We literally have the Emperor, which is ruled by Aries, and we have the hot. So it's like the fire and the fire here. We have the loyalty here, which reminds me of Leo. Leo is like, I strongly associate Leo with loyalty, which again is a fire sign. And there's a lot of 3s associated with this person. We have the 1 + 2 = 3. We have the 33 down here. We have the 1 + 2 = 3 here. So 3s and 12s. So perhaps this person could be born in March. Again, could be an Aries, could be a late March, early April Aries, or again December. They could be like a Sagittarius, or possibly going into a Capricorn kind of energy. So again, those are the signs that I am picking up on. We will roll the dice at the end. I do feel like they're very independent. Independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. This person may be an only child, or just like does not relate to their siblings. They're kind of like the black sheep of the family. They might not be entirely close to their family. I feel like they kind of make their own choices in life. They're a little bit rebellious. Perhaps they always skate the line between like the moral grey area. Like, nothing's ever like black or white with this person. They kind of skate in the grey area of life. Again, with that Dragon's Duel, inner conflict, morality, conscious choice. Yeah, they may have like made some questionable choices in their past, pile number 3. Perhaps I feel like when you meet this person, you might not instantly like them straight away. I think that you might call them out. I think that you might think that they're hiding something from you, or that they're just a bit like overall quite mysterious, and maybe you just don't like them, or they say something to you and it kind of rubs you up the wrong way at first. But I do feel like, this is your forever person, so, they wouldn't be coming through the reading if you didn't like them or love them. I do feel like once you get under that layer, and again, it feels like their private, personal life and how you relate to them and know them is very different to how they are perceived by the public or how they are perceived by their friends. I feel like they might kind of like mask a little bit around their friends, and again, I don't think it's superficial. I do feel like they are being genuine even when they are laughing and joking around, but I just feel like you connect with them on such a deeper level. You hit something deeper within them that no one else would see. Because we do have this angel card here, helping those in need with no expectation of return. I don't think that they're selfish. Do I think that they can be a little bit arrogant at times, or maybe like come off across a little bit sarcastic? Yes. But I feel like they do have the best intentions at heart underneath. They possibly might have been hurt a lot in their past or rejected. They might have that abandonment wound. But by the time you meet them, I don't feel like I don't think they're like an asshole, I can't. This person might swear a lot, because already in this reading I've like sworn twice nearly already. But I think that underneath that, they are deeply romantic. They're like secretly an angel, but they just don't show it to everyone. We have the sacred union here, an angel, partnership and romance. I do actually think there are a little bit of a hopeless romantic under there, and I think it might kind of shock you a little bit when you see this side of them. You're kind of like, you, a hopeless romantic? You? I didn't think you could be like that. I thought you was like this hotline person, ringing up the hotline. you know, being all funny and sarcastic. And this emperor, even a little bit competitive. Perhaps they have like, perhaps their front is a little bit of an ego to other people. I feel like they might play a sport, you know. I feel like they might play a sport. They might, because the Emperor, that reminds me of like competitive sports. So they may play a sports. And Aries, it rules the first house of self. And Aries, it's associated with like militarian kind of energy. Someone who has to like burn off energy. And again, I'm kind of being scattered around in this reading. So I do feel like they have to burn off this fire within them at times. And I do feel like your connection, it is very sexual. It's very passionate. It's very sensual. But I do think that there is a romantic under there, pile number 3. Your person, your forever person, they might have had to go it alone, and they might have had abandonment wounds in the past. They might have had to, you know, be in survival mode for many years, or make questionable choices of morals, or even have inner conflicts over where the direction that their life is going and the choices that they've made. Perhaps they just haven't made the best choice in terms of past partners. Perhaps they just were stuck in dead-end jobs that they just didn't like, or perhaps they've had to make choices to cut off family members. There is a bit of an energy here of like feeling a bit like, oh, well, I'm just used to being alone. And I think that's where that a little bit of a front comes from. They don't really let people in on a deeper level. I feel like this person has had their heart broken at least once quite badly in the past, and that's what's made them put these walls up. But you get under their skin, pile number 3. And also, yeah, this person, They are, I feel like you're fascinated by this person. Like, this person might irritate you at first, but you're still fascinated by them. You still want to get to know them. The moon, it gives a Pisces energy. It gives the black cat in the middle of the night with the full moon. There's a mysterious, mystic energy about this person. This person has a lot of, like, purple in their auras, and, like, even pinks and blues. Yeah, very, like, yeah, high chakra, but then they come down into the root chakra when they're in front of others. But actually, they do have a very rich, deep, emotional, romantic side to them. But yeah, when they present to the world, they might come from the root chakra. But then again, when they're with you, they come more from the third eye and the crown chakra. So do you see how they use like separate chakras, or like it's like they're two separate people? And again, I don't think they're fake. I think they're very loyal. I think that once you have this person in your life, they're extremely loyal. Even if they have a bit of a playerish vibe to them in the beginning, no, they're very powerful. I think people sometimes are intimidated by them. We have the dragon, we have the eagle, we have the black cat, we have the emperor here. They're very powerful in terms of their animal imagery. The bit of it's given like the lone wolf, again the eagle, they can always see things from a higher perspective. The dragon, very powerful, again very wise. Someone who's like lived a lot of life in one life, you know, been through a lot of lifetimes in just a few years. There's someone who's like always growing and changing, and it's hard to keep up with this person. This person's like an enigma. This person's hard to keep up with. They're a little bit mysterious. Maybe their likes and interests change quite often because they're always changing who they are as a person. They're always growing and learning from their own inner wisdom. Yeah, and we have angel twice, actually. We have the angel card and we have the eagle king, angelic help. So they might work closely with the angels, or they might just have a lot of spirit guides. Or this person is almost like an angel in disguise. Like, once you get underneath that, they are really a sweet angel. But I do feel like they do have to have strong boundaries up, because they do have a soft heart underneath all that. They are actually deeply romantic, even if they are someone who says, "Oh, I just love being on my own." No, that's a little bit of a fib, because they do love love. I am saying as well, they are an amazing storyteller. Like, do you know how I said this person was funny and sarcastic? Yeah. Ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. This person might really enjoy like writing. This person this might be the type of person that you would never expect to write you a poem in a birthday card, but they do. Or, you know, before they leave the house for work, they've wrote you a cute note on the fridge and stuck it on the fridge, or they've already like done, I feel like they're very good with words, and they're very sweet when they want to be. And I am seeing a lot of messaging back and forth, or a lot of phone calls with this person, with this pile specifically. So I do feel like, you know how I said in the beginning, I was like, hello, this is the hotline ringing. I do feel like you might speak a lot on the phone to this person, or message this person a lot with this storyteller. They're very good with words and the way that they write. I'm seeing like either they physically write you something, or it's like the paragraphs and the messages that they sent, they're like unusually thoughtful and sweet, and you're like, actually, you've got this sweetness to you that's like an angel, but you come across like this dragon and this eagle and this emperor, but actually deep down they are extremely loyal, extremely family oriented, they're extremely creative. I feel like this person might really relate to like poetry or writing or music. They do have an artistic side to them. Yeah, they could work in like, for example, some jobs that I am seeing here. They could be some kind of like freelancer. They could be some kind of entrepreneur. They could have a hobby or a job in some kind of sport. They could be in the spotlight a little bit, but I don't feel like they like to be in the spotlight. People might put them in the spotlight more than what they like. They are naturally in the spotlight, but their personality is very far removed. Even if they are in the spotlight in some kind of way, like they're quite popular or well known in their community, it's almost like they're still hidden though. They still veil themselves. They're still this enigma. They choose to be in the shadow. Like, you only see what they allow you to see, kind of thing. You know, they'll talk to people on a very surface level and keep it basic, but, you know, only those who are very, very close to them will truly know what they are like, this sweet person underneath. Yeah. They could be like a writer or an author. They could be in some kind of career that helps others in some kind of way. They could work in like a charity shop or like a Samaritans or something like that. For some of you, I am getting they could have served time in like the army or the Marines or something like that. Because there is an element here of like, they have a high moral value, they have high beliefs, but they always like skating the line in the grey area. They are a little bit rebellious. I feel like they've done things or they've said things that they're not proud of in the past. But it's like, but once you get to know them, you see they are really sweet. They are really like romantic. They're really like giving. I feel like this person is a gift giver. This person is strongly as a gift giver. They might like work with other people, like talking to other people. They might literally be a comedian. They might be a child's entertainer. They might be, oh, what else am I seeing here? I'm seeing a lot of words. Anything else, please, Spirit? What could their job be? Symbols. Stories and symbols. I'm seeing, sorry, this is really random. I'm seeing someone being really intrigued by the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Perhaps they're a translator as well. Perhaps they are like really good with languages. It is giving Geminian energy here as well as the Aries and the Sag that was coming through. It's air and fire this person is strong in. Very intellectual, very like sarcastic and quick-witted and funny. That comes through the strongest with this person. That is what you're going to see first. But underneath it, there is a level of loyalty and compassion and helping those and romance. But I do feel like this person out of all of the piles has the most of a front up. Again, they only see what people let them see. But you're fascinated by this person's mind. And the way that they live life fearlessly. They live life fearlessly, not recklessly. Maybe they used to be reckless in their past, but they live life fearlessly and boldly, authentically, unapologetically. So let's get 3 star signs on what your person could be. We have Capricorn. So they could have Capricorn in their sun, moon, or rising. We have Leo. Yeah, center of attention. Maybe they're a little bit show off. I think they naturally just end up telling a story and then everyone's gathering around them, you know. This person might be well-traveled. Aquarius, yeah. Ahead of their time, a little bit out there, a little bit wappy, a little bit, you know. Aquarius, they're ahead of the time. They're like the aliens. Yeah, what did I say? The black sheep of the family. Eccentric, ahead of their time. I feel like they naturally just have so much life in them, so much stories in them. It's like they could be telling the most boring, mundane story ever, but for some reason, by the end of it, everyone's gathered around laughing and joking, and it's like this massive thing. And they've like turned it into this like narrative that's just like hilarious. They could make, you know, a food shop sound so fun. You could be a swimmer and they could sell you water. Like, what is that? You know those sayings? Like, you could be a writer and they'd sell you ink or something. I don't know what the actual saying is. I don't think that's the right saying, but they'd be a good salesman, you know, car salesman or something like that. They'd be a good salesperson or a good marketer. They could work online with the networking and marketing, or definitely something with social media. They could be some kind of like, I don't want to say influencer, but they could just be like, they could have quite a big or a well-known social media presence. But again, it's like people only see what they choose for them to see. So people think that they know them, and then they like unlock another layer of the personality, another layer of the onion. And it's like there's a completely different layer under there that you have to it's like every time you see them, people are like re-getting to know them or rediscovering facets of their personality. I don't feel like I don't want to say you never fully know this person, but they're always giving you like little cute new Easter eggs. Life will never be dull with this person, pile number 3. I will tell you that. Life will always be fun, and this person will always be sweet and kind to you. Like, I'm getting that. Like, once you're in for life. And you're loyal. This person is loyal for life. Unwavering in their loyalty and their dedication, because they can be quite stubborn. You know, once they're in, they're in. They want to win. They're competitive. They don't get bogged down in the details. They're like, it's okay. So yeah, that was your reading, pile number 3. I really hope you enjoyed that. Remember to subscribe so you can stick around to see the appearance for the part 2 of this little sequel that I'm going to be doing. And I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the like, drop a comment down below. Tell me what you'd like to see in other readings going forward. I hope that you have a great day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I shall see you next time. Bye, pile 3.